Hey folks, it's Kary Oberbrunner. Do you love audiobooks? I do. Dave, do you love
I
audiobooks?
I love audiobooks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I it's one of my secrets to success. And when I say that, it's a secret to my success as a person for personal growth,
Hmm.
but it's also a secret to my success um, as an author because the royalties I get every month are cool.
Yeah.
And then there's these bonuses that you have called bounties. And even the last week, I've given out promo codes for potential clients that then listen to the audiobook and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to hire you. So why are audiobooks so popular these days? Why are they on the rise?
Well, the whole thing of content on demand has grown over the last few years, and people want to consume material on their own when they want to, not being on some schedule. So, I mean, yeah, it's the same thing with television and everything's streaming now. Whereas, you had to before you had to sit and wait for the hour to come before.
Yeah.
So, audiobooks are great. I mean, we use them all the time when we're traveling. It makes the miles go a lot faster.
Yeah.
People exercise to them, like
Yes.
walking. It's a great way to consume content and learn in the process on your own schedule.
That's so good.
Hmm.
Well, I, I'm going to be straight up with everybody today. By the way, people are dropping in your bio, which is pretty cool. You are very experienced. You have a lot of talent. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, when I first started, I'm going to give my journey about audiobooks. Number
Okay.
one, Zondervan was my publisher,
Hmm.
and Zondervan said, "Hey, we're going to let your secret name be your audiobook." And I was like, "Whoa, that's my fourth book." No other publisher had said they were even going to put it in audiobook.
Hmm.
I think back then audiobooks were kind of newer. And you know what,
Books
Dave?
on
They
tape.
said, yeah, yeah. Books on tape, books on CD, who knows? But
Hmm.
that was 2010, and Zondervan said, "We're going to pay for it. This is you're going to share the profits." And I was so excited. And then they said, "Do you want to read it?" And Dave, I said no. I don't have a lot of regrets in life, but that's actually one of my regrets.
Hmm.
I let my childhood stuttering fears hack me, and I said I do not want to audition. I said I don't want to do the audiobook, and as a result, they had someone else read it.
Hmm.
And guess what? They didn't do a good job. Meaning, I'm sure they were the professional,
Right.
but it sounded it sounded foreign. You know what I'm saying? Like, as an
Hmm.
author,
Yeah,
your book is you. Your book is
that's right.
you wrote this baby. You know it. You understand it. It's your baby. And then you give it to an actor to read, and they're like, Your Secret Name by Kary Oberbrunner. And it just
Let
did.
me say this again.
Right, right.
Exactly.
So what? Let's get into that first, because that's kind of I'm going to share my journey, but we're going to
Okay.
drop some principles. Why do you think it's important for the author to read their audiobook?
Well, I tell authors who has the passion for the material better than you. I mean,
Ooh, that's good.
you know either the story or the material and the concept that you're trying to relate in your book, and no one else has that passion quite like you.
Yes.
Now, yeah, and so nobody can communicate that as well as you can. So
Wow.
that's what I tell them.
Wow. Okay, that's so good. Then, um, Zondervan, I believe, I could be right, I could be wrong. If my memory serves me correctly,
Mhm.
I think they actually did The Fine Line first. And I think that was the book that they did first, and then they did Your Secret Name. But either way, I had two Zondervan actors read the
Mhm.
book, scared to death, and I was like, "Ooh, good, I don't have to face my fears." Right? So then the audiobook comes out, and they don't go that well, meaning I'm sure they sold, but some of my friends were like, "Dude, well, who's this guy?" And, like, "What is that even? That's not even you," and
Yeah.
this type of thing. Then, uh I buy the rights back.
Okay.
So I published with Baker, and Baker did not include audiobooks, which I think, nothing against Baker, I love them to death. If they're
Mhm.
watching this, kudos to them. But at least back in the day, as a publisher, I'm going to say that they didn't have the vision to launch with the audiobook, which in my opinion is a massive mistake. Why is it a mistake to launch a book in ebook, paperback, hardcover, and then say, oh, but we're not going to do audio?
Yeah. I mean, you're missing a huge segment of the audience of your potential audience that only listens to audiobooks.
Yeah.
I know when my wife published her book and we were at the book launch, somebody came up to us and said, do you have it out on audio yet? And we said, no. He said, well, that's the only way I read books. And we're like,
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a whole segment that's being missed if you don't do that.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And it's not like, oh, I'm all that, and I know, and
Right.
I have to do an audiobook. Here's why I do an audiobook. Because I cycle multiple hours a week.
Hmm.
I kayak. I load the dishwasher. I know it sounds crazy, but
Hours a week. Yes.
I'm serious. People are like, what? Yeah, you bet. I pop
Yeah.
on the audiobook when I'm loading the dishes and unloading the dishes. When I'm commuting,
Hmm.
I don't just sit there and be like, oh, I'm listening to an audiobook. I literally do it when I'm shopping. So if Kelly's like, hey, can you stop by the store and grab XYZ ABC? You bet I'm on an audiobook. And if people are like, whoa, 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 how do you take notes? Super easy. Here's my trick. You can't do this on a bike unless you're on the Peloton, stationary, and then
Or
you
driving in the
actually
car.
can.
Yeah.
Then you can. I actually have done this, but I push the notes folder
Uh-huh.
right on my there it is,
Yep.
and I'll show you this as an example. There you go. There's one of them. Humans. Hold on one second. Humans 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
and to be a machine. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So Humans 2.0 is a book that I listen to, and while I'm listening to it, I open up a notes app
Okay.
and I hit the microphone, okay? And while I hit the microphone, I can speak the note.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. And
And
it's a
here's
great,
what's
yeah.
cool. The Audible stops automatically. So you're listening to audiobook, you open the notes, you speak your note, it stops, and then it picks up again.
Picks up.
And so now all of a sudden, when people are like, hey man, I got to write a book on XYZ, but I got to research all the content. I'm like, sweet, and I do it all while I'm listening.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And it's a
Yeah.
great trick.
It's a great trick. I'm making sure they still, oh yeah. So, and if people are like, what do you mean there? It's down in the microphone right there next to the space bar.
Right.
And I'm going to hold it as an example right now, just so you can see what I'm saying. And if you see what I'm saying, Dave, right now, it's literally typing out what my notes are. Is that sweet or what?
That's sweet. Yeah.
So, and again, you might be like, whoa, hold on. It's sweet or white. Now you just come back and you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
So I have never seen anyone teach that before.
No, that's a great trick.
And that's how I research all my books, how I dive in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next, let's talk about the bounty, because the bounty, it's one thing to make an audiobook royalty.
Right.
It's another thing to make $70 when you refer people to your free audiobook. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, or what does that mean?
Yeah, basically what Audible does is they will put you, when you get your book up, they will put you into a bounty program. The bounty program says that if somebody comes to Audible who does not have a subscription to it, they can get a free subscription. They get your book for free. They listen to it. They have to sign up for a free subscription. But if they keep that subscription for 61 days, I believe, then they will send you a $70 or $75 bonus just for referring somebody out.
That's crazy.
So I know my wife has, the free link in her signature line. So any email she sends out can direct people there if they're interested in that. And we've gotten the bounty a couple of times, and it's just
Yeah.
like, sweet, this is great.
There's
Didn't
dinner.
expect that, but yeah,
There's dinner. Yeah.
or breakfast, depending on where you are.
Where you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's a
But
great program.
it is. It is. So I want authors to realize this. And then there's the promo code
Hmm.
where, wow, you talk about a lot of authors are like, man, I don't have any bonuses to give my people. Or, hey, I'm doing a launch party, but I don't have any bonuses. You log into your Audible account, and all of a sudden you click promo codes, and they give you 50
Yeah.
promo codes. And
Yeah.
these promo codes are so easy. You press use, and then it switches a toggle with available and redeemed, so you
Right.
can see who redeemed it.
Hmm.
Why is that cool? Promo codes.
Well, it's great because you can give your book out. You get 25 US codes and 25 UK codes, or the way they work it. And then if you meet certain requirements, they'll give you more if you give all those out. But there are certain requirements, of course, that you have to make. But it's just a great way to introduce people to your content. They're not they're getting it free, so
Yeah.
it's a great option
Yes.
to get it out there.
You and I have been traveling together, and we've done this with a few people where I'll be the one who interviews the author
Hmm.
after each chapter. I think David Goggins made this kind of, a household thing. And now I see David Sinclair with Lifespan doing it, and Dan Sullivan with Ben Hardy doing it.
Hmm.
In other words, there's some authors who are like, hey, I don't want to read it, but I'll include myself on a bonus chapter a bonus section after each chapter.
Right.
And, for a guy like Dan Sullivan, who's not going to read an audiobook, but
Right.
all of a sudden Ben reads it. And then after each chapter, Ben's like, hey, Dan, let's talk about this.
Hmm.
And Dan loves it. Why is this awesome to do interviews after each chapter?
Well, the book is important in and of itself, and to hear it being read is great. But if you do an interview like you're saying, there is additional content that can be a bonus material for anybody who purchases the audiobook.
Oh, that's good.
And the reader is not getting that. They're getting the listener is getting something special that the
Yes.
reader doesn't get for relatively the same cost. Now, it does obviously up the amount of production and recording time and things like that.
Sure.
But if you want to cater to the individual of saying, I am so glad that you purchased this audiobook, I'm going to give you a lot more value than you would normally get or that you would get in a written book. So it's a great way to add value to your customer, to maybe explain a little more of a difficult concept in a chapter that you could have, that you weren't able to do in the print version.
Mhm.
It's a great way to do that. And yeah, we did that with Lee Benson and some of the others, and just
Yeah.
it's a great tool.
I don't know if you know, but Lee got #2 on Wall Street Journal this week.
That is so cool. Yeah.
And he made the USA Today. He's still #1 on Amazon. Here's what I did too. Share this with Kirsten sometime.
Okay.
What I've been doing now is I've been calling up Audible, and I've been saying, look, again, folks, Lee invited me to be the co-narrator.
Hmm.
So I get what's called audio credits. When people click this, my name, they're going to basically go to my page. But here's what else I did. Look at this. This is new. I called up Audible and I said, hey, listen, I'm a co-narrator. Can you feature
Hmm.
my author link on there? And they're like, absolutely. And here's what it does. It helps Lee.
Hmm.
Now when people go here, and Lee's a first-time author, and so I've been around for 20 years, bald dude, but when you type in Kary Oberbrunner, what's happening is you're going to start seeing some of my other books
Uh-huh. Okay.
that you see what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah.
Now Justin Donald is there, and then Lee Benson will be there, and so now Lee's getting the benefit of my credits, and yet I'm getting the benefit of like, hey, look, I can say I co-narrated several Wall Street Journal
Right.
bestsellers now. So that's pretty slick. So for your friends, folks, like have somebody interview you. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's great, and like I said, it adds a little more level of complexity to it.
Yeah.
Not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination, but
But you got to have a professional like you. I mean, I would say that. Listen, I tell people all the time, like you get what you pay for. What we're going to go to your website here right now, and we're going to share it. By the way, when I'm getting to the website, I've heard from many people that because there's bonus content, they buy both versions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know for us, when we've listened to a book and the content's been so good, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we need to get the hard copy so that we can actually underline and
Yes.
get that information, use it as a resource. So it
Yes.
does promote both ways, which is really a great benefit.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this. This is pretty fun. We're going to do an experiment in real time here. You always got to make it crazy. All right. So one of the books that I'm most excited about on planet Earth ever is a new book on the metaverse. Okay.
Okay.
This book is already. Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. This book is already the editor's pick. It doesn't even come out till July 19th. This is already making massive waves because they've gotten early copies out to media, and
Hmm.
media is already writing reviews on it. You'll notice that I bought the audiobook. See, I've pre-ordered it.
Hmm.
And now I'm going to click right now in real live time. And again, it's #1 already, but I'm going to order it right now because of the. By the way, I reached out to Matthew, and I'm like, dude, you're, I was nice about it, but I said, your Amazon's jacked up, man. I could help you, and again, I wasn't trying to sell him, but I'm like, man, I could absolutely help you. Look at this. He's a most anticipated book of summer. Amazon Editor's Choice, Fast Company. I mean, this book is so hot, and why? Because the metaverse is. But anyway, he's not using. Even this guy is not using the stuff that we teach. He could have an Amazon A. Oh, good news is he has an Amazon A plus, but he's not optimizing so many things. But anyway, I'm gonna hit pre-order now, and then I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can't see my address and all that stuff. Okay, and my credit card and everything. But anyway,
You can
so
put your
now
credit card. You can put your credit card number in the notes.
that's right. That's right. Now let's go to your page, because this is pretty slick. You've blown up your business because more and more people are finding out about you. In fact, we have a great offer today. But for the do-it-yourselfers, which by the way, I did read finally when I bought the rights back, I did read Your Secret Name, Deeper Path, and Day Job to Dream Job in my house
Right.
using advice from your course. So if people click do it yourself, by the way, did it switch screens?
Yeah.
Do it. Okay. I'm just wondering because, I'm not looking at it. But right now, if people want the do it yourself course, they can use the code Igniting Souls, all caps,
All
and
caps. Right.
get $30 off.
Yep.
So right now, if people want that, why would someone want the do it yourself and not Dave Fly to My Town thing?
It all comes down to most authors are writing their book on a shoestring. They have very little money. They have a message they want to get out, but they don't have the resources to do that. So the do-it-yourself is a great option because they can do it in their home. They could do it at their pace. There is a learning curve. I mean, obviously, you're learning a whole different skill. It'd be like creating your website, but that's the whole beauty of the course is walking you through how to set up a studio in your house, how to select a location, how to select a microphone, where to position the microphone. It's a different concept than doing a podcast. I have a lot of authors say, "Well, I record a podcast. Can I do it that way?" And it's like, No, I mean, you can. It's just not going to sound the way people expect it to sound. So I talked through a lot of that, and a lot of that's coming from 40 years of experience in the broadcast and live studio or studio recording background. So a lot of it is just principles that can be used, and we've had many authors that have gone through it and successfully recorded their own, and that are up on Audible right now, and they sound great.
They
And
do.
it's just, yeah, it's been a great experience. And my heart is to
Absolutely.
teach, so that's what I love to do. So
Absolutely. Well, listen, folks, tell people that we sent you, and you'll get special treatment just
yep.
because Dave's a tribe member, and Kirsten, they're a great family. But talk to us now as we kind of land the plane.
Hmm.
Why have you come to the Igniting Souls conference in the past? How many years? And now you're presenting this year, and what are you going to teach? So kind of give us both things, because I believe that somebody's price of admission for conference, your breakout alone is going to be worth it. I know it. I've heard you. I mean, we just finished Lee Benson. His team is
Hmm.
so excited. But anyway, why do you come to conference year after year, and why and what are you going to teach?
Yeah. Well, my wife and I have been at conference. I think this will be our ninth year. Our first year was 2014.
Wow.
And then, we started we started helping you with the production of things,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
that did that for a few years. But no, we come because one, we love the people. It's a great tribe. We have a lot of friends that we've made over the years, and it's just been a great source of encouragement for us to get involved and to be associated with these folks and groups of people. The other thing is just the learning that we've gotten. I know my wife has, and where she published her book through AAE.
Yep.
I helped her with her audiobook, obviously, but it's one of those things where we want to do that. And now this year, I've been doing audiobooks for over 30 years. And when I started, I was editing on tape. And the thing now is that the recording industry is so different than it was 30 years ago with the advent of the computer and the ease of the interface and all that stuff. I mean, before it was astronomical. You had to rent a studio. You had to, you could narrate your book, but you had to have somebody with the machinery to edit it and all the processing and everything to get it uploaded, or to get it onto cassette at that point. But now it's so much easier, and anybody can really do it with a little bit of encouragement and coaching and just education on that. It's very easy to do. So that's my heart. I'm going to be talking about audiobooks, talking about why to do them, why you should be narrating them yourself, what people are listening these days,
Yes.
the psycho imaging of what they expect from a podcast versus an
Ooh.
audiobook. So there's going to be a lot of information, and of course, I expect a lot of questions. So we'll have a great opportunity for Q&A time and just go through
Yes.
some of those things and help people however I can. That's my heart.
Well, oh my gosh, you're blowing up here all over the place. Jeannie Schmidt, amazing tribe member,
Yep.
beating
Hey,
cancer.
Jeannie. Mhm.
That's her message. Her book is about, isn't it called like, I know it's the ship metaphor, and it talks about kind of navigating
Yep.
your purpose and that type of,
A little louder.
yeah,
Yeah,
post
divine drift.
divine drift.
Hmm.
Man, I'll never forget like the imagery of the the captain's thing that she
Yep.
has in the boat. Awesome. Jeannie, big fan of you.
Hmm.
Crystal is working on her audiobook now with
Yeah.
David's program. Huge win there. You have somebody else on Facebook who's blowing you up. And I mean YouTube, Sarah Plott,
Okay.
super cool. Dave is so great to work with. So you can tell Dave that what started as a hey, I might dip my toe into this, even though you have decades of audio experience. How does that make you feel that you're kind of seeing some of your graduates today?
It's a lot of fun, and knowing that I had a hand in helping them get
Yes.
their message out. I mean, I was looking back, and I'm approaching 50 books, the 50 audiobooks that we've done.
Wow.
And that's just that's just exciting to know that,
Huge.
hey, I helped. And that's, again, that's
Well,
so.
you fit our mission. Our mission is to ignite one. No, we already did one. 100 million souls by 2030. And literally, that's how we're doing it. We're doing it through Dave creating audiobooks for 50 authors who now have many, many souls listening to the audiobooks. I mean, that's the brand match right there.
Yeah.
Um,
And the other thing is too, Kary, if an author gets in and says, I really want to record it myself, but I just don't know how to do the rest of it. It's like, no problem. Let me help however I can. And if that's taking the editing from you or the mastering or however, definitely
yeah,
we can work on that. But it's just what's your comfort level and
yes.
where are you going from there? So
He's a quality guy, does quality work, um, competitive pricing. He's a professional, folks. I literally travel with Dave. So Dave and I have gone to Austin and recorded a client. We've gone to Arizona and recorded a client. And like I said, not everybody can do that, but Dave kind of brings a studio to you. If you
right.
think your time is money and you're like, hey, I don't want to burn up miles and again, I can't always travel. That's a rare thing, but Dave will show up. I know you just did Marty. He was super happy. Dr. Mike
Sonic.
Sonic
Right.
was super happy. Steve is blowing you up on LinkedIn. So, you got a lot of
Hey,
fans here.
Dave.
So now here's my push to everybody. Why haven't you signed up for conference if you haven't? I mean, literally, it is me bringing the best experts from all over the world to you for less than $300 for a general admission ticket. If you want all the recordings and a lot of extra bonuses, you get the VIP ticket. But right now, Dave, when people secure their ticket in this super early bird time frame, which is July 5th through the 15th, it expires at July 15th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific. It's always the mad dash. Unfortunately, this year we only have 250 live tickets because we've changed the format from being a production that you watch to now transformation around tables and workshops, and it's going to be incredible. Have you even heard, man? We're throwing in some crazy stuff. We're doing axe throwing. Did you hear that yet?
I
We're
did
doing
not.
we're doing food trucks. We're doing downtown Dublin duck pin bowling. I mean, it is a very different conference than in the past. But it's going to be so much fun. What's the bonus? Because I asked every speaker to give an extra super early bird bonus. And that is, I love yours. I read it yesterday. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is worth it right here. But what's your bonus? Secret PDF that
Yeah,
has
it's a PDF of tips and tricks when you record your audiobook of what to do, kind of how to dress, what to eat, that kind of stuff, just to make it easier as you prepare for going in. I mean, when I work with these authors, a lot of the comments I hear is, man, I'm exhausted. That's a
yeah,
lot of work. And it's like, yeah, it is. It's physical
yeah,
effort.
yeah,
But if you, get the right nourishment, get the right
yeah,
sleep, all that stuff, then it helps to mitigate a lot of that
yeah.
and make it a great experience.
We won't say which publisher because again, we are for everybody. But one publisher recently that we worked with, basically, I showed you the email.
Hmm.
They were essentially discouraging the author
Right.
to read their own audiobook. Thankfully, they said the author said, "I'm going to try to audition." By the way, they made it.
Oh, good.
So that publisher, even though they're like, "Hey, you don't want to do your own, and it's going to take so much time." Remember, they said it would take like 5 days.
Hmm.
Um, how again? I'm not giving myself a pat on the back here, Dave. How long did it take me to do Unhackable?
Well, your manuscript is right around 60,000 words, which, based upon industry standards, should have taken about 3 days of 5 hours a day of recording. Yeah. And Kary, you did it in 12 hours. Did it in one day. It was a
One day.
marathon session. I thought I was
One
going
day.
to die, but It came out well,
Yeah,
and you did a great job.
and we included, this is the cool extra thing. Man, I get so excited. I just keep talking here. But we included like JFK in the audiobook and testimonials that we had pre-recorded from real clients. And so really, I think that the audiobook was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing I'll say, I did not read my own fiction book for Elixir Project. I'm really glad I didn't, because the main character is a female,
Right.
and the main character has 27 characters in multiple language dialects. And that was one that I'm like, nope, not going to do it. And the whole world said, praise God, because you do not want to hear me doing a female voice. But I just had Heather Masters do it. Amazing, award-winning actress. And for that one, I'm really glad that she did it.
Yeah, and not everybody can read fiction well. But again, there's not the necessity of doing different voices. You can if you want, but you don't necessarily have to.
Well,
I mean, you can differentiate a little bit, but I mean, you know, there are other AAE authors who have read their own fiction stuff, and it's turned out great. Tony Ceballos is one who did. So you know, it can be done, but it's a different animal. But
Tony's got skills. Hey team, let's drop in Tony's book. Let's drop in Jeannie's book. Let's drop in Kirsten's book as examples. If you want to throw an Elixir project and be nice to me, team, you can. And then Hackable. But Dave, we are so happy for you, for all that you're doing to ignite souls. We're so glad you're coming to the conference. And I just want to challenge everybody. These are the types of people you're going to get to rub shoulders with. Dave, Kirsten, you know, all the people we've mentioned, and it's time to step it up. The world needs your voice.
That's right.
Last thing you want to say, Dave?
Last thing I want to say is don't be intimidated by the technology. Your audience, people want to hear your heart, not perfection. So I think that's the big thing, and that's one of the reasons why people go to narrators would be for perfection, and people want to hear the heart. They want to hear your message from your heart.
Ooh, that's so good. So good. All right, my friend. Well, looks like comments are being dropped, and go ahead, sign up right now, because you'll get all those bonuses from the authors. Shane spoke today. We lost Fatima from Spain with a time zone conversion, but we'll bring her on next week. And again, people's books, there's Kirsten's, and we're excited. All right. Thanks, Dave.
Great. See you at the conference.
Okay. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.